Welcome to the Skill Up Show. Welcome. Who is with me? If you're with me, let me know that you're with me. Let's do some little housekeeping here. All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mary Beth Chima. Welcome to the Skill Up live show. If you are with me, if you have joined me, you're with me right now on Facebook or on YouTube, please let me know that I have got some company. All right, we're going to wait a few minutes for others to join us. In the meantime, if you are here, let me know that you have joined me and let me know where you are joining me from. All right. My name is Maribel Chima and I am streaming live from Abuja, where we're bringing you the Skill Up live show. All right, just give me a minute. Let me do some housekeeping. Who is in the house? Who has joined us? If you're here with me, let me know that you are with me. If you're with me on Facebook, please say something in the comments so that we know that we have company on Facebook. If you're with me, let me know that you have joined me. Let's just be sure that YouTube is working perfectly. Good afternoon and welcome to this live broadcast. Just 1 second, please. Let's get this started. All right, so today we're talking about family, we're talking about values, how we can skill our children up for our children to start living with the right kind of values. That's what we're talking about here today. Just give me a second. I'm having a little glitch with YouTube. Let's just get that out of the way. Just 1 second, please. If you can see me clearly, you can hear me on Facebook. Let me know that you can see me and you can hear me. And if you have someone who needs to be here right now, I think it's a good time to tag them so that they can join us right away. Um, Please, if you're with me, am I in the group on Facebook or am I on my profile or in the group? Please let me know if I'm in the group or if I am on my profile. I am not very sure because I'm trying to see something here and I can't tend to say it. YouTube is giving us some trouble. All right, I think just give me a second, please. Christabel, if you're there, can you help me check and give me feedback if we are on the group or we are on my profile? Let me know. Also, give me feedback if you can hear me clearly. You are on profile. Oh my goodness. Sorry about this. I think we need to log out and get back in the group. I'm so sorry about this. Sorry about this, please. Okay, sorry about this. If you're with us on YouTube, looks like I'm sorry about this. About my profile. I'm so sorry about this. Sorry, just give us a minute if you're with us on YouTube so that we can get this sorted again. Sorry, please, 1 second. Sorry if you've joined us on YouTube already. I'm so sorry. I thought we had a problem with YouTube and then noticed it was actually Facebook that had the issue. All right, 1 second, please. On YouTube, if you have not joined us on YouTube, please, it's a good time to subscribe to our channel. Please go ahead and subscribe on the channel and then share the link with your friends that need to be here right now. All right, if you have a friend that needs to be here right now, please invite them to join us up right now. If you have a friend that needs to be here, sorry, we found out we're in on my profile instead of in the group. Just 2 minutes and we will kick off. Just be patient with us, please, for 2 minutes and then we'll kick off in a few minutes. Okay. All right, this looks like it. Looks like we got that sorted already. We're just going to go live right now in the group. All right, looks like good. I think we got that sorted now. I am so sorry about that. Welcome, good afternoon, and welcome to the Skill Up Show. I think we were on my profile for a minute instead of being in the group, and so we had to log out and come back again. Thank you for joining us. My name is Maribeth Chima, and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship community. If you're here with us, if you are on Facebook with us, and you know someone who needs to be here right now, I think it's a good time to invite them straight away. If you are on YouTube, it's a good time to share this video with someone who needs to be here so that they can join us right away. I think we got that all sorted now. So just a little housekeeping and we can shoot. All right. All right. All right, so welcome once more. I am so sorry for the glitch that we had there for some minutes. We are ready to shoot right now. My name is Maribeth Chima. I'm the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship community. Welcome to the Skill Up Live show. This is a show that we do every Monday at 1 p.m. All right, we want to help parents learn how to skill up their young children and their preteens. We want to help parents learn how to take the hacks, take the hacks that we give you, the tips that we give you every Monday, and we want you to take this and apply it in your parenting right away. So it is one of those shows that we do not come here to talk too much. In this show, we just want to go straight to the point, tell you what to do, and then you can take what you have learned from the show and apply it in your family straight up. People ask me who are the people that should be in this show, and I say to them, are you a parent? Are you a parent of a toddler? Then this is where you should be, because you don't go to war on the day of war. You prepare for every phase of your children's life before they get to that phase. So that is why it is important that you are learning what to do with your young children before they become teenagers. So it's important. This show is for you. If you are a parent of a young person or a preteen, then this is absolutely your show, because here we want to talk to you. We want to share tips and hacks with you that you can apply straight up in your journey with your young children, so that you can have a peaceful teenage parent relationship. If you're a parent of a teenager, yeah, this show is still for you. Why is this? Because parenting is not a finite thing. It's something that you keep going on and on in. So yes, your teenager may have one challenge or the other, or your teenager may be struggling with one thing or the other. Or it could just be that there are certain skills that you have not imbibed, or your teenager has not imbibed, or you have not taught your teenager, and this gives you the opportunity to do so. So that's what we're talking about today. We're looking at values. We're looking at how we can help our children begin to cultivate the right kind of values, or how we can step down our values, our family values, to our children. So let's start by even asking the question, what are values really? What are values? If you're talking about values, we always talk about values. Oh, our values are, the values in Africa, our values are eroding. Our society is suffering because people do not pay attention to values anymore. And then I ask them the question, when we talk about these values, what exactly are you talking about when we're talking about values around here? So basically, what are values? They are a set of acceptable beliefs and practices, right? Acceptable beliefs and practices that become a standard in the life of a person. So basically, you have these practices, you have these beliefs, and you use these beliefs and these practices, you use them as a standard in your life. So majorly, when you make decisions in your life, those decisions are supposed to be hinged on those beliefs and those practices. So basically, for every point in your life, before you make a decision, before you do certain things, before you do anything, you want to run it through, okay, what are my beliefs around these things? What are my standards around these things. So based on that, you are able to make an informed decision rather. So this is what your values are supposed to be. They are supposed to be the standard upon which you make decisions in your life. They are meant to be the standard with which you guide yourself. So your values are supposed to be some sort of a compass. You're supposed to be some sort of a compass that tells you where to go, what to do, and all of that. So imagine that you are able to step these values down to your children. And so your young children already have some sort of a compass that says to them, this is right, this is wrong, this is how to do this, this is where to go. Just imagine how easy it will be for that child to navigate the world, just because you've been able to help them figure out, or you've been able to help them understand certain standards that they can apply in their journey. So I was having a conversation with a few friends, some days ago. I was having a conversation with some friends, and we dabbled into, somehow, we always end up, with a bit of parenting in our conversations. So hi, Jennifer. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Christabel. I see you, Vivian. All right. So in one of those conversations, I asked them, and I'm like, okay, and I even asked that question in the group earlier today. When we talk about values, what exactly, when we talk about these values that we have, our values as Africans, our values as a people, what exactly is it that we are talking about? What exactly are we referring to when we talk about our values? Now, a lot of times people would, you know how you come on social media and there are certain topics or certain things that come up. Usually, hello, Onibe. Okay. Onyekachi, thank you for joining us. Okay. All right. So you come on social media a lot of times. That's where you see many of these arguments and you see all this back and forth usually. Okay, and something happens, and what you hear, in the comments, or what you hear in people's conversation is how our Gen Z, our young children, right? How this generation of children do not have values. This generation of children do not have respect. They don't have this. They don't have that. They don't have this. They don't have that. And then you begin to wonder if this generation of children do not have sense of, they don't have values. This generation of children do not know what it takes to be us, right? They don't know our values, because basically your values is your culture, your traditions, your culture, your traditions, your beliefs, your ideals. All of these together come together to form what our values are as a people. And now we are constantly, as adults, we're constantly saying that young people do not have values. Young people do not have values. Our young people do not have respect for our culture. They don't have respect for tradition. They don't have values, in quotes. Now, the question becomes, why is it that our young people do not have values? Why is it that our young people do not understand culture and tradition? Now, that is a question that we should ask ourselves as adults, after all. When we talk about Gen Z and when we talk about the Gen Z and we talk about Alpha generation, the children that we refer to as the ones without culture, we're usually removing our generation out of it and we're looking at a lower generation, isn't it? So the question is, whether it's you that is saying this or it's your mother that is constantly saying this about your generation, the question is, why doesn't the next generation understand our values, or why is the next generation not carrying our values? This is simple. It is simply because values are supposed to be passed down from generation to generation. All right? So values are a set of beliefs, culture, tradition, way of life that has become a standard that is passed down from one generation to the next. So every time you see a generation that is lost, every time you see a generation that is not living to that standard, it just points to one thing. It points to the fact that the previous generation has not passed down this value to the next generation. So it is safe to say that as parents, right now, if we are already complaining about our Gen Z and Alpha generation, generation, okay, you've already complaining about this generation of children. It simply means, hi Vivian, it's good to have you. It simply means that as parents, it simply means as grandparents, we are not stepping down, or we are not passing down our values to our children. Now, is it the Gen Z and Alpha generation that are to be blamed, or it is we as parents that are to be blamed? Because we're talking about values now. We're talking about values, and in many conversations, we will agree that the general consensus is that our children do not have values. Our children do not respect culture. Our children do not respect traditions. Now, why are they not respecting traditions? Why are they not respecting all of this? It is because we have not been able to pass down our values from one generation to the other. Now, why is this so? Why are we not passing down our values from one generation to the other? Why are these values not known? Why are they not recognized by our children? Is it like our children have refused to recognize them, or it is that our children do not even understand them? Are you watching us on YouTube? If you are on YouTube, okay, you need to share the link with whoever you know that needs to be on the stream right now. If you are on Facebook and there is someone who is in here, I think it is a good time to tag them right now. Now, why are children not learning what we know? Why are we not passing our values to our children? Why do our children not recognize these amazing things that we know, these amazing values that have been passed down to us? Why don't our children, why are they not living with these standards that we believe we lived with? Why do they not have values and standards? It is because as parents, we assume that our children should automatically know our values. Our children should automatically look around them and see what is right and what is wrong, and so connect to it and begin to live a life of value. But hey, it does not work at all. Now, because we are not people who stop to introspect a lot, we're not people who stop to access what we have done so that we can go back to the drawing board. We stay where we are, and instead of doing something, we begin to blame the next generation. The next generation is not raising herself. The next generation is being raised by a higher generation. The next generation is being raised by people who know better than they do. So what are we saying? Is it like a general wind that has blown that every child, most children in this generation are not learning from us anymore? Or is it that we have become too busy to pass down our values to our children? Or is it that we have become too busy to understand that children need to be taught about our values and the standards that we uphold as a family or as a people? Okay, now if we stop and we begin to introspect, we will be able to get the answers for why our children do not share the same values that we share, or why our children are not exhibiting the same values that we share, or the values that we believe in. Or perhaps there is just a problem, and that problem could be that our values are not right, or our values are not of good standards on their own. But we would only know this when we stop and introspect. We would only know this when we're able to look at our values, go back to the drawing board, and see if those values need to be reassessed. All right? So values are not the things that we would teach on a whiteboard, isn't it? It's not one of those things that you need to sit to your children and say, all right, everybody gather here. Okay, this is my pen, this is my marker. I'm going to teach you about our family values. I'm going to teach you about my value. I'm going to teach you about our value as a people. All right, number one. Number two, no. Okay, and that is another reason why we are getting it wrong, because we think that values are either things that our children will figure out on their own, or values are things that someone has to sit down and teach our children about in school. Now, it is so sad that we have renegated every aspect of parenting, apart from paying school fees, right, and buying clothes for our children. Some parents, at the back of our minds, our children will learn all of these things in school. This is part of the problem. Values are not the things that children sit down and a teacher stands in front of them and begins to pen on the board. They can teach it all they want, but it will not take root, because values are not to be taught in that way. Values are passed down from one generation to the other. And I'm going to tell you how you pass down that value. Now, telling your child to go out there into the world and figure out what is right and what is wrong is as good as giving a child a responsibility, or giving a person a responsibility that is beyond the person's paycheck. So for you to give your child the responsibility of figuring out what is good and what is bad on their own is as good as giving a paycheck or giving someone a responsibility that is beyond their paycheck. You cannot pay your security man 20,000, 30,000, okay, at the end of the month, and you come and expect him to gun down. You're paying 20,000, 30,000 to open and close the gates, and then at the end of the day, you come and you berate him for not being able to protect you when an armed robber with arms comes around, and then you begin to tell your security man that the only way you've empowered, or the only way you have equipped him is by giving him a torch, and then of course he has to open the gate and shut the gate. No, you did not pay him. You did not pay him. That is beyond his paycheck, isn't it? All right. So yes, if you want someone that is able to stand to that kind or those kind of adversary, then you have to equip him and probably have to pay him at that level, isn't it? All right. So it is for you to say to your child, or for you to insinuate that your child should be able to figure out what is right and what is wrong on their own and form values out of this thing, is you having a child to do much more than the child is capable of. So it's always really very funny when you hear conversations that adults have, and the adults are talking about things like, you hear adults say things like, forget about it, these children know what they are doing. You would turn and you look at who these adults are talking about. Sometimes this adult is talking about a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and they are insisting and telling you how the child knows what he's doing. Did you see how he carried that thing? He looked at me, and when he saw that I was looking at him, he dropped it. Oh, he knows what he's doing. These children, they know what is right and what is wrong. Children are just exploring, dear parents. Your children are just exploring, okay? Hi, Yosi, how are you doing? So your children are just exploring, and children are seeking for attention. So yes, your child will do anything that will make them get attention, whether that thing is positive or that thing is negative. So a child who is seeking attention and knows that he needs to pick this pen and throw this pen for you to give him some attention, he will pick this pen and throw this pen because he associates attention to doing this kind of practice. So no, children do not have the capacity to reason at that level, to know that, to add reason to their action. Like, I'm doing this thing, and when I do this, this is what happens. This is what happens. These are the consequences. No, children do not have they're not, their brains are not that matured for such kind of reasoning. All right. So, yes, the brain is a relational organ. As you continue to relate with the child and you continue to reason with the child like this, teaching the child how to regulate, teaching the child how to think, teaching the child how to learn, with time, your child will begin to learn and reason this way only because someone has guided them through how to learn, how to think, and how to reason. And it takes time. So yes, when we sit down there and we look at 4-year-old, in fact, it's so bad that some people will even look at a 2-year-old and they will conclude that the 2-year-old is deciding to be mean or deciding to do wrong simply because the person wants to be mischievous. Hi, Friday. Thank you for joining us. So no, your children do not have this capacity. So yes, if our children are going to learn certain values, our values, okay, whether it's your family value or it's our value as a society, then these values have to be modeled to these children. So yes, values are standards that must be passed from one generation to the next generation. And these standards are not what your children will sit in a classroom and a teacher will hold a pen, a marker to a whiteboard to teach them. No, these values are the things that your children would have to see being lived and being practiced in their homes. So yes, the family system, your home, your family, their father, their mother, you are the one that will pass down your values. You are the ones that will pass down value from you to your child. Values are passed down from generation to generation. So as a parent, what is it that you want? What is the standard that you want your child to live by? What is the standard that you want your children to live by? Then you need to articulate this standard and you need to pass down this standard from you to your child. It's not what you do by talking. It's not what you do by complaining, because a lot of times, the only time that we even do anything in many cases is when something happens. So for instance, you have your neighbor's child probably steal. And then when that one steals and, it comes, everybody now hears about it. That's when you turn to your child and say, if you try it, I will finish you. In this home, we are not thieves. Anybody that brings shame to this home, in your head, this is you passing down your values to your children. This is not how values are passed down. No. But values are things, they are standards that you have to imbibe as a parent. They are standards that you have to live by as a parent. They are standards that you have to live by as a society. And that is how this value are passed down from generation to generation. No wonder it is so difficult, right? No wonder it is so difficult to pass down value in our society. I am a Nigerian, I'm talking from Africa, right? I'm talking from the African perspective. I don't know. I'm going to talk about the society that I know about. So no wonder it has become increasingly difficult to pass down our values or standards to the younger generation, because hey, what is the older generation doing? Really, what is the older generation doing? It is what the older generation is doing that it is going to pass down to the younger generation. So if values are going to be passed down, then they have to be passed down from one generation to the next generation. All right, so let me bring it down before we round off. Let me bring it down to level to our level, our everyday level. Now you are a parent and you have domestic staff in your home. So you have your domestic staff in your home, and it is a constant yelling, insults, abuses on this person while your children are around. No, parents, you may not be able to pass down the value of tolerance. You may not be able to pass down the value of leadership to your child if this is your modus operandi. All right? You are a parent. You are constantly in conflict with everybody in your life. Your children have seen you fight with your mother, fight with your mother-in-law, fight with your father-in-law. They've seen you fight with every friend in your life. You've had friends that were significant in your life at different points, and these friends keep changing and changing and changing, and then you come and you want to teach your child about building relationship as a standard. You want to teach your child about sticking together, family over everything. No, you may not be able to pass down that value easily to a child because you do not know how to embody this value. You are a parent, you're trying to teach your child integrity, and then you are constantly having conversations with your friends or around the child. In this Nigeria, it's not my turn. When it is my turn, I will chop. Me too, I will chop. And then you sit down there, you want to teach your child integrity. What kind of integrity are you teaching that child? You are a parent and you are constantly having conversation around your children, having conversations with your friends and everybody. I mean, they see you on social media, and in that conversation, you're constantly saying things. I better forget about it. No man is faithful. Men will cheat. Men will cheat. And then you come here and you are preaching purity to your child. You're preaching purity to your male child. This is you who is constantly, oh, men, which all men are the same, all men. So what are you saying to this child? No. You cannot preach this as a value to your child. You are a parent. You are shouting, read your book, read your book. Your children have never seen you pick one book to read from the beginning to the end. As a matter of fact, they've seen you struggle to read one book for 1 year. And then you come and you're telling them about reading. I mean, leaders are readers, lifelong learning. And then you say lifelong learning is a value for you as a family. No, this value is not, you are not going to be in the right place to teach this value because you do not know how to embody this as a value. So yes, values, for us to pass values from us to our children, from one generation to another, as it should be, then we would have to live by the standards of this value, by those standards ourselves. And that's the easiest way for our children to imbibe, or for our children to learn these values. So values are not what you just talk about based on how you perceive yourself. You know, the way we perceive ourselves in many cases is different from what we really are. Our perception of ourselves is usually skewed. Okay, who you really are is who you are every day, and this is what is going to rub off on your child, or this is where your child is going to build their value from. All right, so quickly, how can you teach this as a skill? How can you teach this as a skill to your child, or how can you help your child begin to live or carve, or begin to live by a set of values? The first thing you want to do as a family is you have listened to this class and you don't have a set of values that you are intentionally passing down to your children, or you have a set of value that is just hovering everywhere in your head and you have not been able to put your finger on it. So today is the day that you will sit down and articulate what are the things that are important to us as a family. Do this with your spouse first, or do this and share it with your spouse. Okay, these are the things that are important to me. What are the things that are important to you? Make a list of the things that are important to you as a family. Okay, because your values are going to stem from the things that are important to you, the things that you believe, the things that are your culture, the things that are your family traditions, the things that you enjoy, the things that you put, where you put. They say the easiest way to look at it is, what are those things that you put your money in? Right? The things that you will willingly take your money and put your money into. These are the things that form part of what your values are. Write a list of these things down. Is it tolerance? Is it integrity? Is it hard work? Is it love for family? Whatever it is, okay? Is it hard work? Is it leadership? All of these things are different values that you can write. Is it fear of God? Whatever it is, write it down there on that list. The next thing you want to do is you want to speak to your family. After you've done this as a couple, start with your spouse. What are the things that are important to your spouse? What are the things that are important to you as a wife, to you as a husband? Talk about these things and then put it together and share these things with your children. Share these things with your children and let them know these are the things that are important to us as a family. If your children are old enough, see if they have other things that are important to them, or other things that they have picked from you as their parents or as a family, have it all on that list, and then streamline it to a number that you want to, a number of them, could be 5, could be 8, could be 10, however it works for you. Okay, these are your core values that you want to focus on as a family. The next thing you want to do is write this down and plain. You know how the scripture said, I think it was in Deuteronomy chapter 6, okay, how God was talking to the people and giving them his laws and all of that. And he said to them what? That they should write this down. They should write it in the tablets of their hearts. They should inscribe this and they should step it down to their children, isn't it? He says to put it as a breastplate over your, carry it on your head, basically. Write it on your forehead, put it on your doorstep, print it, whatever it is, do whatever it is. And then he says what? That they should talk about it when they sit together as a family. They should talk about it when they walk. This is the mandate with your values. When you have finished talking to your children about your values, you have shared these values with your children, you have added what it is that is important, or your children can see from your family, what they can see as the things that are important to you as a family. Agree on this. Now write it down and make it plain. It has become your vision as a family. Write it down and make it very plain. Now, what do? Talk about it every time. Talk about it when you drive. Talk about it when you gist. Talk about it when you eat. It becomes something that you do always. What we do in my family is we have our family meetings every Sunday. You can decide to have a family meeting. In every one of our family meetings, we talk about one of our values. So if you meet my 7-year-old anywhere and you ask her what are our values as a family, she will tell you at least 8 out of 10 of them, just like that. And if you give her some time, she will tell you all of them. So that's what you want to do. You want to write it down after you have agreed as a family. Now, what do? You take these values as parents and you become intentional about them. So what does it mean? It means that wherever these values apply in your life, you cannot live by a different standard. So no, you can't sit down in your home and be having those conversations that say, it is not my turn yet in this Nigeria. When it is my turn, me too, I will chop. If hard work is a value for you, if hard work is a value, then you will not confuse your children. Half the time our children are confused. What are our values? What do we believe? And what are we practicing? Your values should be what you practice every day. So no, you cannot say that you have leadership, you have tolerance as a value. You cannot say this and you are driving and you see one road taxi guy tries to, he just does something wrong, and you wind and tell him, God punish you, idiot, bastard. And then what are you saying to your child? You come and tell your child that what? Leadership, self-control are values. No, you don't have self-control. So you are confusing your children if you're not able to take what you say are your values as a family and live by the standards of those values. So that's why you're writing it down, so that it becomes a law. It becomes a standard in your home, and then you practice it. So what I do with my children is, every time my children, most times they do something wrong, or I get a report from school, or there's something that they've done even around the house that does not, convey or does not look like what our values are. All I simply say to them, this thing you have done, which of our value does this promote? And then they look at it and they say none. Is it against our value? Is it against what we stand for? Usually they will be like, yes, mommy, it is against. Now go and look and tell me which value this is standing up against. And they will say, we tolerate people depending on what it is that they've done, isn't it? Right? Leadership, God first, or family first over everything. I use a lot when they have conflict, right? I say to the children, what is the second thing on our set of values? And they will tell you, family first over everything. If family is first over everything, how come you cannot even cut your sister a slack? How come you couldn't be there for your sister if family comes first over everything? So this is how you use use your values to resolve the conflicts in your home. This is how you use your values to remind your children of who they are. This is how you use your values to remind yourself of who you are. This is how you grow together as a family, holding yourself to a standard and living by a standard. Only then can you say to your child, only then can you say to your child, this is not who you are. Only then can you say to your child that you are living against our values, because now you are sure that your child knows what those values are. All right, parents, it is the Skill Up Show, and we do this at 1 p.m. every Monday. Okay, sorry, today has dragged a little because we had some glitches at the beginning of this session. All right, so what we do here is we come here and we share a skill with you for the week, and we want you to take that skill, run with it, and begin to apply it straight up. So we do this with the parents. We have a program that we run for children ages 7 to 13. We call it the Mastermind Circle. So this is what we do with them. We teach them skills like this, and we help them practice those skills for a duration of time where we hold them accountable, and they have to give us reports on how they are doing with that skill. This way, we are helping our children build muscles around that skill. We're helping our children practice and internalize this skill. Sometimes, a lot of times, you can do this work on your own. Accountability is the master of every practice that you want to internalize. Accountability is what makes it come alive. Okay, when you teach something, okay, you give the child or the person the time to practice that thing, and then you hold them accountable by this standards in a soft, calm, and encouraging way. And this is what we do in the mastermind. We started registration for children who will begin the next cohort in January. I think every child, if you have a child between 7 and 13, you should not make them miss the opportunity of being a part of the mastermind, because this is where we will help you grind all the skill that you're introducing in your home. We'll help you grind it in your children until it becomes a part of them. Thank you very much for everyone who joined us. Sorry for the glitches we had at the beginning. Okay, and sorry that we had to make this long. Usually we would do this for just 30 minutes. Thank you for joining us. I can't see any question right now, so I'll take it that there are no questions. Have a lovely, lovely rest of the day. Bye.